first off, I need to start with a honest disclosure. I am in no way an expert in truck camping. I am simply a person with a truck and a very healthy sense of adventure. I have been out camping now every month, sometimes several times a month, for a year and a half. And I'm simply learning as I go. Second point I want to make before diving into the topic of this video is that I'm really loving the little bit of community, the sense of community that is developing around this channel. Can't tell you how much your support means to me, and all the encouragement that has been coming my way from viewers and subscribers. In particular, with regard to this video, I have to give a shout out to Bergie. She's been kind of with me, I think, almost from the beginning, and she's the one who gently, and sometimes not so gently, kind of kept on me to do this video. I believe she's looking at starting some truck camping, so this is what she was looking for, and I think it might be useful, perhaps, maybe, hopefully, for some others as well. So thank you, Bergie. If you happen to be watching, to have found this video, and you yourself already are highly experienced, or you've taken a lot of trips camping yourself, this is not geared for you. So this is going to be, the content of this video is truly going to be for the beginner, for someone who's just starting out and wondering what in the world they should be focusing on, and how they should even get started. So if you've got a lot of experience, you're probably just going to roll your eyes if you do happen to watch this video, because it's definitely not geared for anybody who has any level of advanced experience camping. When I started camping out of my 2014 Toyota Tacoma, I certainly didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to plan for. I didn't know what kinds of things I should be taking into consideration. I just dove in and learned from experience, which I am, like I said, definitely still doing every trip. I'm slowly building out my rig. I've got it to a place where I'm pretty happy with it right now, and just now I'm working on more tweaking things. And I've accumulated some basic gear. So I have some videos showing how I solve the always asked about bathroom issue, and what I do for storage in the back of my truck. And also I have one showing my very basic bed setup. In this video, though, I'm going to be talking in general about some of the things that you may want to take into consideration if you're thinking about getting started truck camping. While I'm talking specifically about camping out of the back of a pickup truck, I think these tips could probably pretty equally apply to van camping, SUV camping, or other kinds of camping similar to that. So my first tip is to keep things as simple as possible when you're starting out. Kind of bare bones. You know, think of what you absolutely have to have, such as like your bedding setup, maybe food storage, and figure out how you're going to handle using the bathroom. Or whatever you determine are just the essentials for your first few trips, and then build your gear and your setup out from there based on your actual experiences. In that way, you're going to accumulate your gear and have your setup built around your actual needs, not what you think you might need, or what you've seen other people use, but what your own personal and unique experience is. Okay, my second point is to test out your gear and your setup as much as possible beforehand, before you're actually out there. So if you can do a driveway test and actually just camp in your driveway, or some other kind of setup that's close to a place where you can just kind of bail out if you need to, if things aren't working out, I mean, you might feel silly doing that at first, but I did that a lot at the beginning. It gave me a lot of confidence, just knowing that, like, hey, I thought this might work, and it did. Or well, I thought this might work, but boy, it really just didn't work the way I thought it was going to. So, however much you can, test out everything ahead of time before you're actually out there in the field. Because when you're out there in the field, that's a bad time to figure out that something is completely not going to work that you were counting on. This includes testing out any emergency gear or recovery gear that you may decide to keep with you. And that may not be a whole lot right at the beginning, especially if you're not doing super elaborate trips. But, you know, if you have a first aid kit, open that up. Make sure you know what's in it. Anything that you are planning to take along with you, be familiar with it. Know how it works. If you're taking a jump starter, if you're taking recovery tracks, whatever you might be taking along in terms of emergency or recovery gear, just make sure you're familiar with it. Don't just assume that you'll figure it out if you need it. Okay, so the third point is another one about simplicity. Keep your trips themselves simple at first. Plan for them to be relatively close to home. So, you know, if it all goes to hell, you can kind of pack it up and go home and regroup without it being a huge deal. You may want to consider going to places that you're already familiar with from day trips or in some other way, so that you can build your confidence in surroundings that you feel comfortable in. If possible, I'd recommend planning your first trips at times of the year or under conditions where it's, you know, it's not incredibly hot or, you know, ridiculously cold. You know, so you're just upping your chances that your first trips are going to be, you know, super great without any major issues or discomforts. Okay, point number 4 is to make sure you have appropriate backups. So if you are planning to go out someplace and camp where you don't have a reservation, to boondock camp or stealth camp, what are you going to do if your planned spot doesn't work? What if you get there and, you know, a road is closed, or there's construction, or something else is going on? You don't want to be completely thrown by that and have to scramble and feel like everything's kind of falling apart. So you want to prepare and think, okay, so what am I going to do? Here's my backup spot number 1, maybe even some other kind of loose ideas about some other backup spots in the same area that would work for you, so that that doesn't throw you and you feel more confident in case you do experience or come up against something like that. Likewise, you want to think about whatever mapping system you're using, whether that's on your phones, which probably most people are doing. Is it maps? Is it paper maps? Is it some combination of the two? Maybe have both, so you have some backup there. I've definitely run into situations where I was very glad that I had that paper backup to refer to, because, you know, maybe Google Maps didn't tell me the right way or something like that. Or where I camp, a lot of times I'm offline, so I have to be sure that I have backed up and downloaded my maps. So you want to think about all those things, and the things that are absolutely critical to your trip, you want to have backups for. And for your major needs, you want to have some redundancy. So you want to have extra water. You want to have some food that doesn't need to be cooked or heated, you know, in case maybe your stove doesn't work, or it breaks, or you forget your fuel, or something like that. Also, I would always say take several light sources. I think that's pretty critical right even from the get-go. Something is inevitably going to run out of a battery or run out of power, and being stuck somewhere at night without having that light source can be disconcerting. So take a lantern, take a flashlight, take a headlamp, just take a few things so that you're sure you have all your bases covered there. And then finally, with point 4, assume that things aren't going to go as planned, because they're probably not all the time in every way. So be flexible. Think about what are the most likely ways that things might not go as planned, and have some idea how you'd handle that, or put things in motion, put a plan in place for how you're going to handle it if something doesn't go just right. And understand that sometimes when things don't go right, that's when you have the best time. When things go off the tracks a little bit and happen in a way you didn't foresee or plan, sometimes that can be really the most fun in a surprising way. And then finally, point 5, I just want to address briefly the idea of safety and security. Think ahead of time of what you are going to need personally for yourself to feel physically and psychologically safe. Are you going to need to bring items of personal safety with you? Are you going to need to modify your rig in some way to make it more secure? Give some real thought to these things ahead of time. This is such a unique issue, and everybody's going to find their own solutions to it. You can look online. There are a lot of great videos out there about safety and security while camping. Everybody has a ton of ideas, and some people are going to say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Well, take that with a grain of salt. Think about yourself, what you need, where you're going to be. Anticipate some of those things so that when you're out there getting started, you're probably still not going to feel 100% safe and secure. It's just kind of the nature of the beast, but you want to put some things in place so you have some basic sense of security and safety. Be prepared that at the beginning, you're probably not going to crawl into bed and have a awesome, amazing night's sleep. Very few people can. Some people can just lay their head down wherever they are and just fall asleep, and that's it, and they're good. I think most of us, struggle a little bit with that. And there's times when I still even struggle with it. More often than not, I do get a super good night's sleep, but sometimes I don't. But then again, sometimes I don't at home either. So. But take something with you. Take a book. Take some games on your phone. Download some movies. Do something. Have some things with you. Know that it's perfectly normal and natural to not be able to just, fall right asleep. And be prepared for that. So you're not just laying there obsessing over every little creak and crack and every little noise that you might hear in the night. And again, don't beat yourself up. That's completely natural to struggle with that a little bit in the beginning. Okay, and here's a bonus tip. I feel like I've been talking forever, wrapping this up. Bonus tip. Make sure you incorporate something that is just fun into your trip. You're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some times probably when you're not the most comfortable, when things don't go as planned. Make sure that you incorporate something that you just know you're going to enjoy, whether that's cooking an amazing camp meal, whether that's going for a fantastic hike, whether that's kayaking, or whatever it looks like for you. If it's just sitting around camp with your feet up for a good portion of the time and reading a good book. Incorporate something that you just know that you're going to love and enjoy in your trip to make sure that you have a good time. Basically, do whatever you can. Take whatever steps you can to set yourself up to have a fantastic, fun, enjoyable, safe trip for your first few times out. Later on, as you get more experience and you feel more confident, you can start to push those boundaries a little bit. Take some risks, take more chances, and see what you can accomplish, what you can actually do out there, what you and your rig are capable of. You just don't want to, or my advice is not to dive into the deep end and do long, complicated, elaborate trips right off the bat. You don't want to get in above your head a little bit and have things go sideways and then, decide that truck camping isn't for you, when really, maybe starting off a little simpler, a little more basic, you'll actually find that it's fantastic. If you've watched this video this long, chances are you will. Okay, quick summary. Keep things simple. Plan well. Have backups. Test your gear. Assume that not everything is going to go just perfectly. But most of all, just have fun. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Got a trip coming up December of 2021. I'm actually going to be camping with a subscriber if things go as planned. should be pretty fantastic. So I hope you stay tuned. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and you like this content, you like this video. If you like this video and you put up with me this long, you'll probably like my channel. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere